of property, what's happening in the property market, what's been happening behind closed doors inside Axon. We like to give you guys a bit of behind the scenes access there, some conversations I've been having with clients, and just general overall chit chat. So yeah, listen in, everyone. I hope you enjoy yourself.
Make sure you type in where you're listening from, and yeah, we'd love to see you all typing away. Say hi. Happy Wednesday. I actually wasn't in the office today, so I missed out on seeing everyone today. So I feel like, it'd be good to even say hi from the team.
That's right. Jai Simmons is in the house. Sammy Wynn's in the house. Sammy, you and I were just going back and forth on our little Facebook chat. I'm so proud of what you and your mate are up to, which is bloody awesome. Luke from the Gold Coast has joined us. Hey team, Luke from the Gold Coast, love it, mate. Angie Paradise is in the house. Angie, thank you for your listening ear today and your understanding and counsel of a few things. You're an amazing, yes, we can know it. There's an amazing confidant of mine. So as I spoke to you about in the car on the way home, you're one of the senior leaders at work, buddy. So I need you to know what's happening inside here and here. That's my heart, that is. And Axon. So I was like, and bounce ideas off you, buddy. Keen to know what Lukey boy had to say. What about you, Tam? So first and foremost, you and I will be living in another place come this time next week.
This is the very last Axon's live stream from the Q1. We're moving less than a week now. So I spent the day packing and just trying to sort through our shit. It's just you accumulate. You don't realize how much you accumulate, and especially when you start pulling open drawers and like stuff on top of the wardrobes and stuff, and you're like, why have I still got this shit? So I've been trying to be ruthless and get through it all. Hopefully not as much stuff to move, but it's still a lot.
I said to Angie in the car on the way home, I'm like, Tammy's at home. She's going through her shit, and she has more shit than what I do. And certainly she knows how to purge a whole lot of shit each time we move. So, yes, it's actually a good little activity.
I did that last time, and I've still got so much shit.
Yes. Kent Herman, my man, sir, I've got to say, you were like number 15 or something on my list of comments here, mate. Fucking timing's
slow.
Yes. You've now you're like Donald Bradman, mate. You're a 99.94% chance of coming in number one on our live screen.
Man, we always love having you here, no matter what number you come in.
Chris, I loved having a chat with you recently, mate. Thanks for your understanding. Thanks for you getting a bit of an inner workings about what goes on again in here and here when it comes to all things Axon. So if someone's not giving you the number one, the absolute best service, mate, and it's a reoccurring theme, i.e. more than a couple of times, they get fucking voted off the Axon Island. And I know you were relieved and pleased, as disappointing as it is, the circumstances, to know that one of your service providers that's not doing the right thing by you has been fucked off effectively. So, yeah, thanks for your understanding there, mate. And I love, buddy, you and I talking about a couple of RI worries as well, as we bloody got right into it.
I bet you did.
Yes, we did.
We've actually been having in the Axon Elite group. There's been this week some of the clients sharing their favorite ADF memes, and that has given me a chuckle this week. So that's been pretty funny. And yeah, you posted a fantastic success story again. We're getting some great success stories coming through.
We've finally got a bunch of properties that have been sitting there in the final stages. I almost said vinegar stroke then, but I did it, like the final stages of their build happening. And we're actually decided now we're going to do 2 success stories a week. Two success stories a week. So that's coming your way. And I'm trying my hardest to illustrate. You know, I guess I seek the forum's feedback. Do you like the way I'm able to illustrate the client's circumstances and their background? And sometimes there's some struggles, and but generally at the end of the day, they've made money. They've got more bloody rent coming in. They've either established their portfolio, grown their portfolio, and most importantly, they're already putting a plan in place to buy their second, third, fourth, fifth property, which is bloody awesome. Huey Allen, thanks for that, mate. You will be another fucking success story coming everyone's way real bloody soon. Chris Phillip,
it's really nice to see. We have had a bunch of delays and wet weather and this and that, so it's nice that there's a lot coming through now that are starting to progress, so that's great news. So it's amazing to share that with everyone.
It is funny, Tamara, because Noah comes and sees me. She's like, Robbie, and I'm doing a very, very poor Brazilian accent here. She goes, Robbie, are you sure you've got the numbers right? Is that like $130,000 in 1 year? I'm like, yes, mate. That's what's going on. She's like, I'm buying next. I'm coming to see you. I'm going to get my next property.
Yeah, she's a character.
I'm coming to Axon. Let me just go back a little bit and say hi to a couple of people. Robbie Johnson's in the house, mate. I believe we're going to catch up soon. Chris Phillips has said, among the best time I had in the army, watching souls getting crushed. Ladies and gents, when we're talking about being a recruit instructor and you're crushing one soul, that is the taking away of all their current liberties as a civilian, shaving their fucking head and building them back up into being a soldier. That's what Chris actually means when he talks about souls being crushed there.
That's a bit like Joe Lucino podcast.
Yes, it absolutely is. Luke says it gives a real insight into the success of other Axonites. That's an interesting term you've come up there with there, mate. Gordy Spooner's in the house. Go for it, Tam.
I use that one, Axonites.
Gordy Spooner's in the house. Brother, I was back-to-back on meetings today. I got your little message. I note that poor Sammy has fucking amputated part of her little finger. Sammy, I'm not sure which one it is, because this is left and right opposite anyway. But yeah, that's. I'm glad that you are going to be home, mate, to help her through that ailment. So we will catch up sooner rather than later.
That was a big shot.
Ms. Bretts, how have we been tracking your bloody progress over the last little while? So I know the girls in the build support and Angela and the like are absolutely making sure that house is being handed over as soon as possible. Similar to my comments about Chris Phillips, Bron, I know you and I spoke about this about 9 months ago. You'd be happy to know that action I was taking has now happened. So RIP those guys. Francine Israel's in the house. Fran, I'll talk about you in a second. Jai Simmons has said, I'm definitely tracking the meme comp, hoping for the win. Brother, we're not in charge of that. Whoever gets the most likes, whoever gets the most loves, like it's the forum that's going to choose the winner there. So you need to contact people on the back channel and bloody slip them a 50-cent coin. Margie Grunsel, good to see you in the house, buddy. Hi, RT and the awesome crew. I had a guy use your QR code today, and he asked if you were, and he said he follows here online. Very exciting, mate. It's gold. Let me tell you a quick story about the follow bit. Tammy, I told you this the other week. One of the amazing ladies, she's a female Army corporal down in Canberra. She basically reached out to us, and I did a connection call with myself and one of the other lads. I'm like, so Ellie, how long have you been following us for? She's like, I've been following you guys for about 2 years or so. The first thing that jumps in mind, I'm like, fuck, you've missed out on 2 years worth of growth. But the time wasn't right. She had other stuff going on. She lost a bit of focus. And I'm like, it's all right, buddy, you're here now. I said, well, how did you get in touch with us? And everyone who's had a connection call with me, I go through this exact same spiel. Did someone put you in touch with us? Like, did someone at work mention our name? Did you find us on Google, whatever? She goes, oh, actually, one of my other friends, and I'm doing a very poor rendition of poor Ellie here. She's like, my friend Katie was talking about you in the office. And she's like, yeah, have you been following these Axon guys? She's like, yes, I do follow them. And Katie's like, I'm a client. Fucking give them. She probably didn't say fucking. Give them a call and reach out to them, and they're going to be okay. So I love it when people know that there's people following us, Margie and Tammy, that we have no idea about. And it's so great to finally hear about it down the track. Yeah.
I know. And for us, like for me and Noah and Sophie and Doves, like in the marketing team, we don't get that sort of pump of adrenaline when you guys are for speaking to clients, but when our marketing is working and like people are talking about us and personal referrals and stuff like that,
So
that's
good.
what lights us up. We're all like, yeah.
I know you love it. Caitlin's in the house. Gordy Spooner says yes, left pinky, mate. I really, really hope that Sammy is okay, and I will speak to you guys sooner rather than later, and no doubt she'll hold up her left pinky so I can see it all bandaged up. Mickey Gallen, I love catching up with you recently as well, mate. Always up for a good chat with Axon. Having Fran and Caitlin online tonight. Oh, someone was almost about to join us then, I thought. Geez, that was a nice surprise. No, you can jump on and say hi, Noah, if you really want to. I'd love you to, in fact, if you want to talk about the marketing stuff. One of the other things you might have seen inside our Axon Elite membership page, though, team, is that we've welcomed two amazing ladies to the team recently. Fran's joined us a few weeks ago, and Caitlin's joined us now. If you think the surname Wilkinson is somewhat familiar, ladies and gents, you are absolutely right when thinking, I wonder if that's James's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of you may be thinking, but Robbie, we've heard you talk about in the podcast and on here before, working with your wife is not the easiest thing in the world, and it's challenging, but it is very rewarding. And you've also heard me say, ladies and gents, I would not have it any other way, as evidenced by having my amazing lady here with me right now. But we've actually got two married couples that work in the one business, and so far both of them are handling themselves fucking amazingly. So yes, welcome Caitlin. As James is saying, she's certainly her own independent woman. Let me tell you that, mate. I've seen her give you some feedback outside of work, and I'll be like, James, cut your losses there, mate. Shut the fuck up. Yes, just say yes, dear. As I need to learn, don't I, Tam?
But as the marketing team did put on her welcome post today, Caitlin is also very much the one that fattens the Axon team up because she's an amazing cook. Yeah. She's got her Thermomix always on, and baking this week she baked apple cakes and muffins and all these things. That I know that you did get stuck into, Robbie.
Yes. Caitlin, a bit of selfless promotion here. This is my fucking Facebook Live, so I'm allowing you to do this. Tap in there, put your little Caitlin.w Thermomix thing, and ladies and gents, if you want to know what goes on with making amazing food with a Thermomix, buddy, follow her. She's amazing.
Yes.
Jackson.
When we finally get our new house, we will get a Thermomix. But in the meantime, we're going to just live off Caitlin's food. But yes, we're snacks on, and we always talk. Even Amanda Lewis, actually, she messaged me today after our lunch story that we posted. She goes, "Oh, Robbie did tell me about the Axon spread happening at the Axon office." I said yes.
Yes, thank you, Caitlin. Here to help all of our clients as well as fattening up the snacks on team, mate. You don't have to go too far there. With we've all got ourselves, we're not as lean and mean and green and fucking ripped like a bloody deep sea racing mullet as we all used to be. What was I going to say? But one thing which is a real-time story, ladies and gents, is, yes, the delays that are going on in the builds right now. And sure, with the delays that go on with a build that you're not moving into, unlike Chris and Jamie, and unlike myself and Tamara, it just costs you a few extra dollars in interest repayments until you get the tenant move in there, and then when they start paying the mortgage for you, like, thank fuck for that. That's over, right? But I guess the thing that hurts all of us that are building our own home right now, that are in rented accommodation, when that accommodation is due to finish to synchronize when you're supposed to move in, like was what's supposed to happen with us, and it gets pushed out by 6 months, we're paying for a removal. We've got to move into a new house. We've had to pay a new bond. We've got to pay more rent, like extra rent when we go to this place. And then we've got to do another cleanup when we get there, and that'll be the last ever fucking move I do. So and Chris, you and I connected on our call please understand, ladies and gents, when I say that Tamara and I are now, also being bitten on the ass here as far as the delays in the building industry go. And it's going to cost us many thousands of dollars and an extra 6 months where we're not living in our dream home. And this is a woe is me story, but I guess you've also heard me speak for the better part of 12 months. I'm like, there's nothing you can do about it. Everyone's trying as hard as they can. You can fucking complain and kick your heels up and get the shits as much as you want, but everyone's trying to get your house finished as soon as they practically can, with the frustrations and the delays and another round of COVID. So I just want to, yes.
Even at the moment, maintenance, like especially here in the southeast, just getting maintenance trades out. In northern New South Wales and out west have just had massive floods, and they're all trying to repair houses, and then there's a lack of trades. There's not as many young kids doing apprenticeships as they were. There's not as many tradies as there used to be. So, it all has a ripple effect, and everyone just has to be patient, and you think there's people that are way worse off than us. Yes, we're it's annoying. Yes, it's going to cost us more, but, we're also not homeless, and we're also, we haven't been dealing with massive floods and things like that, where our house and all our belongings are destroyed and filled with mold and things like that. So, as much as, there's frustrations, I think there's always a time for optimism, and I think we can always think positive, stay on the right track, and be mindful of what everyone else is going through as well. And I'm not saying that your frustrations aren't valid, but
but here's what we're now seeing, and some of the things, Tam, I've been trying to tell people, like, here's a bit of solace. And I know it's only on paper until it becomes real. Your house is worth, as Kai Gordon quite rightly say, brother, I'm so glad you're joining us. Kai's one of the original gangsters of Axon, by the way. I've known him for a long, long time, built a couple of houses with us, superstar guy. I was very, very sad to see some of your stuff got bloody ruined in a storage shed, Kai, recently. Sorry about that, buddy. But probably an overshare, but fucking whatever. Here's the thing. There are clients now that are just getting to the end of their build that have endured months and months of time delays. Debbie's now getting valuations done on those properties, and they're ripping out an extra 50, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 of equity, which they didn't plan on getting, and they're rolling into the next property straight away with eyes wide open, CJ Wynn, as you say, going into it for your second time round, knowing what the landscape is. So I know that that's been hard to hear over the last few months, going all the things that Tammy said, but rest assured your house is going up. When you get to the end and it is fucking $100,000 more than what you thought it was going to be, I promise you'll look back on the hard times and the shitty thoughts you've had, and you'll be like, that was fucked at the time. Bronwyn, Brett, I know you'd never say this. That was fucked at the time. But you know what, babe? I'm actually glad we're now at the end of it and someone else is paying the mortgage, because we're so much in a better net position than what you could have forecast if their build had gone fucking perfectly.
And you know what, as well, say if your house finished 3 months ago and you locked in a tenant for 12 months, the rent has even gone up in those last 3 months. Like, it's going up that fast at the moment that you're actually getting more rent. Like, the rental prices, you're getting more rent at the end of the day anyway.
Yeah. Look at us. Oh, I'm loving this. Maddie Fleming. Hello, RT and TT. The Flemings, you get our Axon fix. Oh, what an amazing Mother's Day present that was for Ash and yourself.
Yes. So former employee Maddie, he's now a fireman.
Yes.
He went off to become a fireman, and him and Ash had their little bubba the day before Mother's Day. So little Layla was born.
I thought it might have been the day after, actually. Anyway, around Mother's Day. Was it? I apologise. I stand corrected. You're like, boy, That's my I'm in the fucking, I'm the mum. And anyway, so yes. Love it, love it, love it. Lukey Millwood, gratitude is the key for where we are. We're all investing or owning our own home, a very fortunate position. Yes, yes. Mate, yes, I'd love to know your points there, team, as far as what you've experienced. And I guess I'm sure I've said this many times before. Every Wednesday, we down tools at 10 a.m. and we go in and we do a Zoom on a big bloody 75-inch screen, and we go through every single deal. And Deb dials in, Deb, the mortgage broker, and we go through every single deal. Mm. And so those clients that she's now getting valuations done on their properties to get equity out of the properties that have recently finished being built, so they can then go use as a deposit and cost for the next one, because we synchronized what that was going to look like due to the level of planning that we do. You know, one that I've just got it written here at the moment, she got a purchase price. So Simon Connor, he's a young fucking digger in the army. Not a young fucking digger. He's a young digger in the army. I can't remember what Sim does on the back end. Been a great young couple. Came to us with $100,000 about 3 years ago. 2019, bought their first property. $530,000 they bought their first property for. And they've now, we'll put a plan in place. They've had an EOI down on their second property they're getting, which means they're about $100,000 ahead on that. Their $530,000 property is now being valued by the banks at $810,000. And they're not even 25 yet. And the property that they're now buying, I think $650, was valued at about $750. So they're the better part of $400,000. They're $400,000 ahead or so. Based on them, they wanted that, and they were in their own words, they were shitting themselves about getting going, you know, when COVID was on, but they did it anyway, and away they go. So it's just, you know, it's a very, very
my favorite. These are my favorite stories. You know this. Whenever we have clients that are in their 20s, I just think, like, God, it blows my mind that these people are that smart to get advice and to speak to people, speak to accountants, speak to mortgage brokers, and find and get a plan in place with a coach to find out what they can actually do. And yeah, I wish I was in their position. I wish I was like in that mindset when I was in my 20s. I certainly wasn't. But it just makes me so bloody proud of them to have people in their 20s that are buying 1-2 houses.
Yeah.
They're just setting themselves up and their future selves up for life. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I just want to check something. And yeah, that's correct. Kent Herman says that's gold. Kent, that's around the corner from your property that you bought for $485. That's now worth high sevens minimum. And Matty Fleming, guess what? It's around the corner from your place where you and Ash built your first property with us as well. So you guys know the location. That's the location that's going up in value. It's fucking phenomenal. So good. You know, and I'm sure there's many others that are listening in right now going, fuck, I wonder if that's me or not. You know what, Margie? Honestly, peeps, don't wait too long. It's something else I was going to talk about. It's the power of time. We were coaching a wonderful young guy today. His name's Nathan. He's a civvy. He's a school teacher down in the Central Coast near Terrigal. One of his best mates is in the Army down at the Special Ops Engineer Regiment, Sam. Sam, he introduced him to us, of course. And he was talking to me. He goes, "Oh, I want to buy here, and here, and here." And I'm like, "Fuck no, Chrissy, that's not you, brother." But it fucking will be. You're a long way ahead. I can tell you that. The location you're in, Chris, is doing what that other one did. It's about 18 months behind. Anyway, I digress. He was saying to me, because he's like, "Oh, I'm going to spend about $650," and I'm like, "Mate," and he goes, "I want to buy where Sam bought." I'm like, Sam bought 18 months ago and it was $650. If you want to buy that property now, it's going to be mid to high sevens. He's like, I can't spend that much. And I said, so it's all right. We're going to go to somewhere else that's in the same stage of where Sam's property is. So you basically get to go on that ride as well. And then he goes, I just wish I had bought a property 18 months ago like Sam did. And I said, mate, it's time. In 2023, one of your mates that you tell that you bought a property for $650 will be going, oh, fuck, I wish I had bought back in 22 when when Nathan did. So I guess it's all time. And you're absolutely right, Margie Grunsel. People don't wait too long, because when the market's moving, as consistently fast as what it is, if you wait 6 months, no dramas. You're just going to have to pay 50, 60, 70, 80 grand more.
I actually always look on I can't remember what the website's called, but when you type in a street address and it comes up the sales history for that
Yes.
property, and I always love like looking at what things were like, even for your childhood houses and stuff. We recently did that, looked up what my parents had sold for and then what it's worth now, and or even what they bought for and the increase that they had to be able to keep buying other things. And I find that so interesting, like looking at the growth in properties. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is very, very cool. CJ, as you said, the very conversation you and someone else had tonight. And yes, it's one of those things. Now, James, of course, where you and Caitlin bought, where you were sitting in the other side of the screen as clients, the properties that you guys bought for 474, and Deb's now getting valuations at 200 grand more than your property. Like, it's just fucking, it's so good. And the majority, there is certainly an element to it on the build, but there's a lot of it to do with the land as well, which is bloody phenomenal. Luke said he's got a friend who must be looking at getting into the property market. Talk to us about interest rates if you're getting your finances sorted soon. That's a very open question. What I will talk about is this. Here's another fucking story about someone who's probably going to miss out. It's a story about doing things with your finances after the plan is set in stone and we know that the plan works, without consulting your coaching team. Look at you. You're like, what the fuck are you about to say?
I'm like, uh-oh.
Well, no, it's one of those things. Awesome client of ours, Civvy again. Fuck, there's a few little bloody, really good business mate of mine. His best mate's a physio down in Sydney, owns a couple of gyms, had the better part of 100 grand in crypto set aside, which is a fucking wild ride in its own right. But he's been very smart with his crypto stuff. He put an expression of interest in on a property in August, September last year in that location that's gone up so much. He'd be the better part of 100 grand ahead now easily. And now Deb's starting to get all of his key documents in, and he sold his crypto shares a couple of months ago and went and bought another business. So he doesn't have
finance.
So he doesn't have funds set aside for his deposit and costs right now.
No.
I know. That's what we're like. No. Like, don't get me wrong. This other business that he might have bought into may do very fucking well. And I pray to God that it does. Yeah. But when something so tangible and low risk and steady as the property market has shown to be throughout COVID and the GFC, like there's never been a fucking global event which has brought down the Australian property market ever. Not that there's one property market anyway, but you know what I mean, right? As markets move through cycles,
it can readjust. It can.
Yeah, there can be a correction. Absolutely, that's all part of it. But
if you look at the trend,
how the fuck has someone done something with 100 grand in their portfolio and not check back into us to go, hey, is this going to change things? Like, James and I had an amazing session with Luke and Annika during the week, and they've got baby stuff or whatever going on. And we're like, whoa, stop. Let's inject that into the plan. Let's get Deb to recheck the numbers before we take another step. And I'm like, you've done the right thing by coming back to us and, resynchronize what some of the key events are going to be, like a small thing like having a child, at some stage in the future. So it was really, really good. And obviously Deb's now working in magic because they know that they don't want to be backed themselves into a bloody corner. So it's, I tell that story as a cautionary tale, ladies and gents. Don't buy a car. Don't fucking do anything with your finances once the plan is set, especially if you put an EOI in and you may or may not have a finance clause. Do not place yourselves in that position if you go do something fucking silly with your money. So anyway, that's one of those things. Caitlin says yes, and I remember when I was apprehensive about buying, glad we did when we did. Mate, don't take this the wrong way, Caitlin. It's easy to be a hindsight hero, but you should be proud of yourself for having the courage to have a crack back then.
Yeah.
And, I say this to every single one of my clients. There are 3 parties to this relationship. There's you, it's your money, it's your financial future, and you gain to win or lose. There's us, who come from your background and culture, who are experts in the industry, that got access to properties that you probably can't and can do research in a much greater depth that you can't either, purely based on the amount of people doing it every single day. So therefore, the likelihood of success is going to be so much better. And the third element to our relationship is not the solicitor, not the mortgage broker, it's the market. The market needs to do what we expect it to do based on the research and the infrastructure and the stats and the data and the population growth that we're expecting to occur. You've got to have that belief. Otherwise, don't fucking buy there. And you had all of that, Caitlin, and you went, all right, based on what I can see, let's fucking go do it. And now the 10 grand you paid us you've turned it into 200. Like, that's the thing. I've got no dramas in having people pay us about 10 grand for our services, because you're fucking making 20 times more than that. It's like, it's a no-brainer. As my business coach down in Sydney, they're like, tell me you fucking put your prices up. Why are you not fucking charging more? I'm like, because I want to try and help as many people as I can. Anyway, Margie Grunsel, if a 30-year-old hasn't bought their first home yet, they need to remember banks like the buyer to have at least 30 years working life left. And if you're 30, you can build a great portfolio. Margie, look, yes and no, buddy. We've got heaps of clients. When I say that, probably 15 that are in their late 40s, early 50s, mid 50s. It's not, you don't have to have 30 years left back. You don't have to have 30 years working life in your life for them to be able to give you a loan. It's all about what your exit strategy is, therefore what your current portfolio looks like, how much super do you have, and it's just all about if you get to the 20-year mark and you don't want to work anymore, how much equity might that property have? How much cash flow might that property have? How much super you're going to have? So if you need to sell it or you need to foreclose on the loan, worst case scenario, is the bank going to get their money back? So I actually had the exact same conversation with a gentleman called Paul. He's working for DFAT overseas somewhere. And he's the same. He goes, oh, yeah, but I'm in my bloody early 50s, mate. This might be the last property I'll buy for a while. I'm like, bullshit. You've got a couple of $1 million in your super. You've done 37 years in the army. Like, the banks are going to love you, mate. Don't think you can't grow your portfolio just because you're an old bastard like me with almost a 5 in front of your age. So, Margie, I just want to, you're absolutely right, buddy. The banks love younger people, because it's lower risk for them, but it doesn't mean it's not going to work.
Yeah.
What else we got going on? No, the rents will cover it. So Luke Millwood said, sorry, should have been more specific. Should I be worried about my ability to service the loan with these rate rises? Tammy, I think you brought up a really good point last week about what might happen. What's something else that can mitigate any small rate rise if you buy in the right area?
Well, the growth in your house.
And what else? So we'll talk about cash flow now.
Oh, the rent.
Yes.
Rent.
Yes.
Yeah, the rent increases have been steadily going up, if not more than, and what Deb spoke about last week as well is that when the banks lend you this money, they've already added a few percent onto the loan to check your serviceability anyway. So, what the banks understand is you can afford it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And even if you are going to get $500 a week rent, they'll only take 75% of that $500 a week rent. Because they're like, well, what if there's a few weeks vacancy and whatever else. So yeah, it's when interest rates are so low and rents are so high, and therefore the cash flow of the property is so easy. The last thing that one should be worried about is like, oh, I'm going to be an extra $75 a month on my mortgage repayment now. I'm like, you're $3,000 a year positively geared. Who fucking cares about $75 a month? You know what I mean? So it's again, it all comes down to mindset. And look, at the end of the day, ladies and gents, remember, when you're in your accumulation phase, you're accumulating. That's buying one after the other. When the serviceability and the market trends allow you to do so, the rent return and the tax return are purely there for one thing, and that is to what, Tammy? Buy
time.
Whew, fuck, I thought you were going to fail me then. Good girl.
I was in my head, I wasn't really listening to you then because I was thinking about
Thank
pace.
you.
I was thinking about pace. I was thinking about the acquisition stage when you were talking about that. I was like, oh yeah,
Accumulate.
preparation, accumulation,
Consolidate.
consolidation, and then I can't remember what the E is. Exit.
Enjoy your life. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Axon Properties' new coach. Woo!
Nearly got there.
Do you know what? It is something which is really, really exciting that I'm looking forward to. That isn't it great in the office at the moment with some fresh faces?
It is.
You
It's
know,
amazing.
there's
The vibe is absolutely pinging on all cylinders at the moment. I don't know whether it's the sugar that Caitlin's feeding us, or no. Honestly, everyone is it's high vibe. It's just great energy. It's great banter. We've got our own meme channel that happens on the Slack, and my God, some of that. We've also now got a HR nightmare hat, which Robbie mainly wears. But yeah, we're constantly laughing, and it's absolutely great. So
I tell you what, one of the favorite things I did is that Daniel, our videographer, got really, really excited, and he was like taking videos from all different angles, and he did a fantastic TikTok. Let us know in the chat, ladies and gents. Has that been published on our TikTok yet? Probably not.
No, not yet. It just got first release today to us.
Oh, right, for the draft. Yeah. Next week. I love it. Yeah.
This way, if you guys have loved the ADF acronyms, we've got some more of those coming out of the civvies in our office, including me, trying to work out what the ADF acronyms are. They've started to be posted a bit more often. I think they're coming out on Saturdays at the moment. But we've also got some funny TikToks that we're producing about ADF quirks versus civvies not knowing about them.
It is funny. It is pretty funny.
And they're terrible actors. I just saw today's because I wasn't in the office today, so I got sent it. And Robbie, you're acting. My God, stick to your live presentation.
I've got to say, I'm better when I'm just doing stuff off the cuff.
You are.
Come over here, do this, do make this way. I'm like, okay, and I hear what he says, a bit like you. You listen to me, but you don't really hear me. And then I don't know. I just make shit up on the fly better. It just suits me. Speaking of which, Amanda Lewis has said, hindsight hero, we're loving the Robbie bangers. The Turner Comedy Club is on fire. Love it, mate. Love it.
Yeah, I encourage him. This is
yes,
why we
of course. Yes, of course. Amanda, I know there's some amazing, exciting news for yourself and Ryan coming up real soon. I can't wait for the changes that are coming into your life. Put it that way. So that's going to be good to see.
Secrets. You're terrible with secrets.
I'm not giving away. There's no secrets to be given away. No secrets whatsoever.
One thing we did, talking about Miss Franceline has popped up there. I think I can win that contest. We did something with her this week that'll be out I think it's coming out next week as well.
Oh yeah, the podcast.
Yeah.
That's what you meant to say.
Like what?
Yes.
Yes. So you filmed and recorded another couple of podcasts this week.
I did one this morning, and I've got one tomorrow. So yeah, three podcasts in the 1 week.
So they'll be coming. But yeah, we sat down a couple of days ago and chatted to Fran just about her life as a military spouse, and yeah, coming to Australia from Brazil, and yeah, some funny stories in there. We were definitely laughing a fair bit in there, and yeah, also talking about her joining us at Axon as well. So
yeah, so good. And the podcast of today was really, really interesting. One was with a guy by the name of Carl Schwantes, his name is. Ex-artillery guy that did about 10 years as an army officer, and then got out and then started to work in his dad's jewellery business. So he runs a business by the name of Xenox Diamonds in the mall, Queen Street Mall there in Brizzy. And now he runs also a business called My 5-Star Reviews. And he actually gave some really, really good tips about Google reviews and just customer journey sort of stuff. So I guess it was really focused towards those veteran entrepreneurs that want to optimize what their reviews are like online, and also like how to basically make their overall customer journey better, and how we can use some of the digital marketing tools. So yeah, if you're a veteran entrepreneur, ladies and gents, or you're thinking about getting out of the ADF, I sort of said it on the podcast. If that yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full shit, if you've had enough of that and you want to fucking be your own boss, get out of the military and go start your own business. But don't just do it on a whim. There's actually a lot of planning and a lot of thought and a lot of effort that needs to go into it, because it can, there's, as you and I both know, Tam, it fucking doesn't happen overnight. And
it certainly doesn't. There's so much that goes into it. Even I was thinking about this the other day, actually, about how when we first sort of were starting and we thought, oh, well, maybe we should get a marketing person to help us. And we kind of thought that marketing people could do everything, and we thought they were, a website maker and a logo designer and a copywriter and doing all our images,
manager,
everything, all our ads. And we're like, why is she not able to do everything?
Yes,
and you know what? I think something that I think is a strength to us is we're students of marketing ourselves from our own personal education. Is we find a lot of passion around marketing ourselves. This is why we're here every fortnight. It says weekly still. No. But that is why we are on to, like, as you said, the customer journey, making sure we're engaging with our clients, we're building relationships so that we are your first thought when people think of property. When you're around someone that talks about that they want to start the property journey, that we're the first people that you think about, and it's because we're building that engagement with you. And to me, I'm so grateful that we were so passionate early on in marketing, because it's ever evolving and ever growing, and there's so much to it, and you're never across it all. And I'm on that many forums and that many follow that many leaders in the space, and it's ever evolving, you can never stop tweaking your marketing. So I think that was something that was a real strength to us starting out, because if you are looking to start a business, that would be my first thing, is just dig deep into learning as much about marketing as you can.
It's exactly what Carl said today as well. It's one of those things, if you have a product or a service that you know that the world needs and you're good at it and you can get paid for it, find the tallest building you can and stand on top of it and bang that fucking drum as loud and hard, as consistent as you can. That's what marketing is, by the way. Because if people don't know about your services, how the fuck are they going to find you so then they can use your services?
So think about it. We started over 5 years ago now, and it's all those early years and the last few years of traction of doing these things and doing the consistency of showing up for our clients and learning and ever evolving, growing the team, developing the team so that they're world-class in what they do. And that's what makes us continue to grow and be better.
Yeah. Love it, love it, love it. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, I'm interested to know, ladies and gents, who has seen, it might not be out yet. Is Top Gun in the movies yet?
No.
Oh, why am I fucking seeing all this stuff on social media about people watching it already? That must be part of US groups. Yeah. Anyway, let us know. Let us know, team.
On the 23rd of...
Let us know, team, who's looking forward to bloody seeing Top Gun. I'm seeing a bunch of bloody a bunch of notes in there talking about that it's supposed to be better than the first one. So let's sort of see how that all. Yeah, true story. Yes. Supposed to be better than the first one, Tam. 100%. Ladies and gents, we've only got about 10 minutes or so to go. Hit us up with all your questions. I feel like we've done way too much talking this time. We answered a couple of questions there from Luke from the Gold Coast. I think that's where he's from, about finance and interest rates and stuff. But yeah, I mean, let us know what you guys think about what's happening in Sammy Winsby and Promise Gold Class, mate. Do they have the ones where the chairs move, or are that just the big bloody the big sort of layback ones?
The big lounges.
Ando Westinghouse is in the house. Hey mate, buddy, good to see you as well. Thanks for sending through that stuff the other day. Lots of pre-screenings, hearing that it's amazing. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I don't know when the fuck we're going to fit it in our calendar though, to try and go and get some stuff underway. Let's talk about
the house first.
Yes, let's move out first.
Unpacking all the boxes.
I agree. Who else? Who I'm just looking at my calendar. We've had some great people. We've had Ros and Michael joined our elite group on Monday night last week. They're doing 2 properties at once. Kim and Eric are doing another one. They joined on Tuesday. And then I spoke to Nath Richter today. He's going to join tonight. And then we're having a great chat with Amy after this as well. So, yeah, we've got some really, really superstar clients coming through and effectively going, hey, we want to make sure that we're not missing out on this capital growth stuff. Ando Westinghouse has said, do you have a forecast re political parties and policies on the housing market?
Similar question to Nicole as well above that.
What is it you think the 2 parties have in their borrow from super or house of the government owns part of it? Yeah, that's an interesting one, Nick. Thanks for that, buddy. Actually, I'll go back to the other one first, please, from Ando. Mate, unlike the last 2 rounds of elections where negative gearing has been, a big sort of part of what's been going on inside the election sort of mindset there, the government, neither side of government have been talking about negative gearing at all. So I guess in short, team, what negative gearing means is the tax laws say that a income producing asset, which is your investment property, you can claim all of the cash and non-cash deductions. Cash deductions are interest on the loan, the rates, the insurances, any body corporate you've got, maintenance, et cetera. And your non-cash deductions is all about your depreciation. So therefore, you pay less on paper, you pay less tax. You pay this much tax, you should have only paid that much. That's what your tax return looks like. That's what negative gearing is, right? And if your property needs a tax return to be positive, that's when you work out whether it's positive or negative gearing. They have not abolished that for this particular round of stuff there. So there's been, besides from what the Prime Minister said recently about as we switch to the 2 parties and they're borrowing from super for a house. So besides what Nikki Otto is talking about there's been no real banging of the drum as far as that goes for a particular housing policy. Last year, the Liberals brought in the Home Builder Grant. They have also extended the First Home Loan Deposit Scheme. First Home Loan Deposit Scheme, whereby you don't need a 20% deposit. You can get in with a 5% or a 10% deposit, and the bank guarantees the lender's mortgage insurance, which means homeowners don't have to save for a 20% deposit to not have to pay LMI, which is good. And the government's already extended that to another 50,000 places this financial year coming. So that's already been signed off on. So there's been no real big difference from my perspective as far as what Labor or Liberal are doing from a housing market perspective. I'm not right into the super stuff, Nick, and to be fair, I'm not Jace Cosgrove. I don't sort of provide advice on what's going to go on with it, whether you should or shouldn't use money from your superannuation to buy a house. The one thing I have noticed, though, from a trend perspective, and the Home Builder Grant is a classic example, albeit it was met with a perfect storm of storms and also COVID hitting and the war in fucking Ukraine. When there is a government grant in place where people can access money to buy houses, all I've ever seen is that makes housing prices go up.
They're saying it's not going to because it's only 1% of the market that will be able to use it. That was a question that was thrown to them.
Yeah.
A lot of the reporters agree with what you're saying, that it's only going to push prices up. They're saying it shouldn't, because it's only expected to be able to be 1%. But I was talking to even like Sophie in our office. We were talking about, people trying to access their super to buy their first home. Well, a lot of people, and if they haven't got a certain amount, they can only borrow 50% of it, I think it is. And so, yeah, if people have only got 30 grand in there as the normal sort of age of a first home owner, in their young 20s or whatever, or early 30s, they might have a little bit more. But then if they can only borrow 50% of that from their super, I still don't think that's going to be enough for people to get started in the market anyway, unless they've already got a pretty significant deposit already, in saying that they were already going to buy at some point anyway. This isn't putting people who weren't going to buy into the market.
Yeah. It's bloody crazy, and and I feel sorry for young families that are trying to get into the market, because all they're doing, ladies and gents, as most of you are well aware, they're just throwing themselves into the 30-year mortgage trap anyway. So it's, you guys know my philosophy on this. The great Australian dream, in my opinion, is the great Australian myth. Just throwing yourself in and then slugging away at your mortgage for the rest of your life is fine for the security of having a roof over your head. Case in point, you and I are being booted out of our bloody rental property right now.
Yeah.
So, the rental property we live in. So it does have its pros and cons. It just, you do those things for lifestyle choices, not necessarily wealth creation choices.
Well, we've been rent investors for a very long time.
Yeah.
The house that we're building will be the first home that we own that you will live in.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in my first home that I bought in my late 20s. But yeah, like, that was to get the first homeowners grant. But yeah, we've been investing for the last 10 years. So
yeah. And did you know,
strategy?
Did you know, ladies and gents, that's another really good case in point, Tam. If you hook up with somebody and they've already used their first homeowners grant, and you're now in a de facto couple relationship, your first homeowners grant is also gone. So this guy missed out on his first homeowners grant because of that girl.
Oops.
And you're absolutely right. Someone, I think, coming in via YouTube, if the government was serious about making housing more affordable, they would unlock more land, change rezoning and higher density, create more social housing, etc. So yeah, I'm not in the social housing stuff. I don't know enough about it, but I guess it was about a month ago that I saw Stephen Miles, who's a deputy prime minister up here in Queensland anyway, where they're absolutely unlocking a bunch more land in and around Brisbane, in the northern corridors and the western corridors. Southern corridors already chockers down to the Gold Coast. Eastern corridors, the water. So you've only got north and west respectively. So they're unlocking a bunch more land in there. And Dan, you're absolutely right. Devaluing property is very unpopular for both major parties. If you think managing the economy and managing unemployment and managing fucking carbon emissions and the aged care health sector and all that stuff is obviously very, very important, but devaluing the housing market will have fucking someone booted out of the bloody political party very, very quickly. Because imagine how many senators and members of parliament own investment properties or have a very wealthy property portfolio. There's no interest like self-interest, and they don't want to unfuck that. So, you're absolutely right, Nick, as long as there's a bunch more land that doesn't flood. Yeah. Especially in the Brisbane City Council area anyway. It's from the 2011 floods, an inquiry came out whereby a development application will not be approved even if it's in a area that it has a low chance of flood risking. because of course the fucking 1,000-year flood comes along and like fucking boom, boom, boom. So, and that's all about making sure, like Nick, we've got, with the properties that have been built, which go towards that $150 million worth of wealth that we've recently created, and about the 100 other so that are under construction right now, as Margie Bester said, new estates shouldn't flood. When that 1 in 1,000-year flood was put forward, like came through here to Brisbane a few weeks ago, guess how many properties that have got an Axon name attached to them were reported to the property manager for flood issues? 0. So, what does that mean? When you do your due diligence and you do your background checks and you do the flood mapping, that, you don't fucking buy in places that have even got a low chance of getting flooded. All right, ladies and gents.
It's funny, like with these last couple of questions of the political parties, all that keeps going through my head is your favorite song that was just playing on the new
There's a hole in your bucket, dear elbow, dear elbow.
There's a hole in your budget, dear Labor, dear Labor.
Same thing.
No, but every time it comes on the TV, Robbie cracks the shits and goes, I fucking hate this shit. And he's like, thank God we only have 2 weeks of this political.
3 more days now.
But in total, we only have 2 weeks of the political campaigning, because, like, in the US, how long do they go for? Like 2 years, isn't it?
No, maybe not 2 years, but it's a
long time.
Not longer than that. Yeah. All right, ladies and gents, I have to bounce. I've got a meeting at 19:30. That's 7:30 for you civilians that are watching, no doubt. Thank you so much for all the comments. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for everything. I've got to push off. Tammy, I'm coming down. That song does suck. Caitlin, you're absolutely right. My pleasure, Ando. Good to see you, brother. Tammy, I'm coming down to get that bloody charger from you, because I've got some stuff to do that I need to charge for. Much love to all of you. See you next fortnight. We'll have a special guest with us. I don't know who that's going to be yet, but it won't just be us two. See you later. Bye.